think you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me. I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? We are back for another Only Friends podcast. I'm here with the squad. Andre, he's coming out to play today.
Andre's back.
As always, we got the tortoise, Melissa in the house,
Hello.
and Guapo, as always, behind the production scene.
Wait, did I get a lower third?
I mean,
Negative. You getting?
No.
I mean, you're on. Oh, I forgot. My man, sitting in El Chapo's fucking tunnel.
Don't forget about him.
Chin is in the building today. Where you at, Chin?
I can't disclose where I'm at, but I'm in the building. I'm excited to be here, and there's a lot of topics to talk about.
Man, there's so much shit going on right now. I don't even know what to start. You know what? Let's start on Berkey last night on Live at the Bike.
Good old Berkey.
Good old Berkey.
1
He
second
win?
on that.
I don't think he won, honestly. With plays like, you know, what we're about to see, who really knows?
Well, it's because Berkey stinks.
Well, we
Yeah.
know Berkey stinks. That's the problem here. Watch this shit.
Okay.
Okay, this lady has a real hand.
Simulations to like find out.
Five variables.
Oh,
Will be fun.
Yeah.
this motherfucker's.
Very confident. She's able to make that kind of call because she's very confident. Overconfident.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Holiday and
Like you're
Eric
saying
both
it's
with
less likely
sixes.
that she's cheating because of the way she comes off and she's seen it. Yeah.
Some people like her, maybe she
Berkey
doesn't
with-
have social
While they're
skills.
having this
The more she
conversation,
talks,
three
the
bets
more
the Jack
confused.
4-0.
So, better
Man, this is getting out of hand.
just call and be quiet.
Both players with sixes peel both with no outs to hit their sets. So if
But now, I
Berkey
think it's
continues
trying
the
to
aggression
push
here,
it
he's
through.
probably going to win on this board. Tricky against two players.
She's not a big underdog player.
But
you know.
as big of an airball as Jack 4 is,
People think she is. I don't think she's a big underdog. Hey, that's
I
completely different.
imagine a bet coming, and
Alright,
indeed
thank
there
you.
is a
Now I think
6K.
she's fucking slaughtered.
She gets
Jared's good
slaughtered.
at it. Yeah, you get fucked
See
up.
if it
Hey,
gets
that is completely different. Poker player crazy like her call up over 100K with Jack High.
Yes.
It's gonna be real tough.
Yes.
Damn Jack
What a
will be
dork. Man,
Dance.
he stinks.
All right.
Wait, is Robbi coaching him?
So I played
Is that what's
that
happening?
clip. Just to let you guys know, that is the expression that you give when you fucking win with Jack 4 off, all right? That's
You do
number
a little
one.
dance?
Number two, if you want to learn how to play the Jack 4 off, Berkey's got an academy for you here at the Solve for Why house.
Oh.
He does.
Yep, February 2nd to February 5th, we will be in the house getting it popping.
That's right.
You know?
Academy.solveforwhy.io.
Are you going to be there, Conrad?
You know, I'm always in the box. I don't miss my chances. Rich, poor, I don't miss my chances in the box. I have so much fun.
Class on that dance? Like, what was that dance? What is the? That was the Berkey
Can we break
shuffle?
that
Like
dance down?
I mean, that's what you do when you win with the Jack 4. You give a little shimmy out there. You know, you got to get it
That's-
popping something. You got to do
Listen.
something,
Nah,
man.
that was some Pittsburgh dance.
No, that's hold on. No. Don't,
Bryan, teach us the way.
please don't lump me in with Berkey's dancing, okay? I'm out there, you know, being Justin Timberlake, and he's out there doing whatever the hell he's doing.
All right, I have seen
That's not a
Bryan.
Pittsburgh thing. That is definitely a Berkey. Yeah, the Berkey shuffle is what that is.
I have seen Bryan
Wait,
dance before.
Melissa, you go to the club and you get out on the dance floor
Yeah.
and some dude hits you with that dance. How you feeling?
I'm not feeling well.
Looking for the exit.
Not feeling extra great.
What we really want is the fucking tortoise dance. We really want to see the tortoise dance. I'm pretty sure we got some karaoke clips on that. Not for today, but
No, not
I
for
think we
today.
got something in Andre's phone. But moving on. Did anybody see what happened at the Warriors practice either today or yesterday?
I never missed
Somebody
it,
got knocked the fuck
personally.
out.
Yeah.
What happened, Melissa?
I never missed the Warriors practice. I never miss it.
Well,
Catch
There
us
was
up to
there was a
speed.
big there was a huge event that
Yeah.
occurred.
Yeah.
Strange occurrence.
Well,
Strange occurrence.
Draymond Green, something happened at this fucking practice because Draymond Green heard something he didn't like from Jordan Poole's mouth, and then he got a little violent, it seems.
Okay. I haven't seen this.
I mean, just watch.
Okay, so he's off to the side by himself,
Yeah, he's just hanging out for it now.
just chilling.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, somebody said something. Yep.
Oh, you said something? Oh, what's up, big homie? Oh, you said something, big homie? Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, he,
don't look at-
he pushed him first, though. Big mistake.
Yep.
Big
Knocked him.
mistake. He put his hands on him
yo!
first. Self-defense.
Let it run back. Let it run through.
Yeah.
Yo, did you see that shit?
Bro, it wasn't even a good punch.
What?
Yo, he Supermaned him. This
Yeah.
man is 6'8", like 250.
He's 6'6".
He's 6'6", 250, and he just got Superman Jordan Poole. Like that. I'm sorry.
He waited till he got pushed first, though.
Guys, we are talking to the #1 jiu-jitsu fighter in the world. I completely forgot. I am so sorry, Andre. If that's not a good punch,
He
you
is
know.
so jujitsu. He is someone asked if he's holding the phone with his foot. He is. That is how jujitsu he is.
Is he really?
He is grasping it and using it with his toes.
The phone with your foot?
He was using his toes.
No, I wasn't. But I do have very good.
He was texting with his feet. He was even sending out a tweet.
If I really wanted to, I could hold
Wait,
it.
Oh, man.
that's for the paywall.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's for
Put
the
that behind
Patreon.
the
man.
paywall.
Stop.
Put
Don't-
that behind the paywall
don't do
for
that
sure.
here.
Jesus Christ.
A quick word from our sponsor this week, Faded Spade brand. Their new world-class 3.0 poker playing cards are now available, and viewers can use the code ONLYFRIENDS for 15% off at fadedspade.com. So,
That ace of spades looking nice. But wait a second, are we just gonna like skim through the basketball part and not talk about how Haralabos was being called Harry Potter yesterday?
yo, relax, man. All right?
Yo,
Yo, didn't you get a fucking message today?
Jesus, Chin.
Didn't I send you
run a show.
Yo, didn't I send you a fucking text message?
Listen,
today?
Chin. Listen, if you want to run the show, you
Yo.
gotta show up here, okay?
Yeah, yo, just relax, all right?
Time
You
out.
just kind of
Linda,
you were in timeout.
listen, Linda.
Did somebody
understand.
mute Linda?
I apologize. Don't fucking crucify me because the run of show is not in the particular order that I just read, right?
Listen, man.
Uh-huh.
This is
I
Connie's
should have
first time in
noticed.
this host chair.
I
You're
should
gonna
have
blow his
noticed.
spot up like that?
It was actually
That-
perfect.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he's lying.
Haralabos
we
and the
don't tell him
basketball
that.
part should have been together. But anyway,
Well, you know what?
Nonetheless,
There's a lot more going on around the Haralabos stuff, all right?
He's
So
just
if
a
you
soccer
just
mom.
give us a moment.
That is still like an hour away. There's so fucking much.
There's so
Right now.
much that went on
Listen.
last night, guys. Like,
Dude.
I don't even know where to start, honestly.
Seriously, I thought it was done. You know, it was dying down. It was slowing down. I said earlier, it's just like every time you think you're out,
I
they
know.
pull
It's
you back
right
in.
Yeah, this is
It's
so good.
Godfather 3 all over again.
This is so good that the fucking tortoise is up
Jesus.
at 11 o'clock watching Joey's stream every
Oh,
night.
know.
man.
I mean, I'm
That's
addicted.
past his bedtime.
I literally was
cutting
up.
into Housewives time.
I was up till 2:30 in the morning
I'm
last
completely
night.
fucking addicted. I'm losing my mind. But yesterday, let's get into the shit. Yesterday, Hustler Casino released a statement stating that
employee.
basically, hold on one sec. I'm just gonna read this last paragraph. I'm just gonna read the last paragraph because the first two don't really mean anything. During a review of the video of September 29th and between Robbi and Garrett, our investigators observed an employee of High Stakes Poker Productions removing chips from Robbi's stack after the broadcast had concluded, and while Robbi was away from the table. During our investigation, the employee Bryan Sag Big Sal admitted taking $15,000 in chips from Robbi's stack. We immediately terminated Mr. Sag Big Sal's
Why do you
employment
say it
and
like a
contacted
text-to-speech
Robbi and the Gardena Police Department to file a criminal report. Robbi told High Stakes Poker Productions and the Gardena Police that she does not wish to pursue criminal charges against the employee. So
Here we go.
A lot to unpack here.
there's a lot of shit here. I do want to clarify some things. The chips were taking off her stack and not her reserves that was sitting on the side. So it's her little stack.
So her stack that was on the table in play.
Yep, the stack but it was after the production had concluded.
Okay.
The money was claimed to be spent or lost already.
Lost as in gambled, lost.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Robbi decided not to press charges. Here are the reasons why. She said it on the Joey Ingram podcast yesterday.
I asked the detective verbatim, I said, please go look at his rap sheet. And he said, well, I don't know if I can do that until we book him. And then he kind of got interrupted by another detective. And he's like, hold on. And then he goes inside, he comes back, and he's like, okay, so I just got word he doesn't have anything on his record. I was like, so he has nothing on his record? I was like, and he's like, no. And I was like, and how old is he? He's like 23. I'm like, okay, and he's getting fired. And they're like, yeah, and he's in a really hard place financially, and the money's gone, right? And I'm like, damn, like, okay, well, first of all, 15K to me, I mean, sorry, but 200K for me, I'm good. I don't give a shit. And so like, whatever, 15K for me, I'm not, and this guy's broke, it's already gone, he's young. I was 23 once, but I had a golden spoon in my mouth. So maybe I didn't really recognize how much 15K was. I didn't have to say that for anybody, and I wouldn't do it because of my moral compass. But maybe.
I'm sorry. First of all, what detective is gonna go? He's in a really hard place right now.
Yeah.
I mean, so Sean Deeb did say after that that he was robbed before, and the detectives do try to do anything they have to do
To avoid the paperwork?
To avoid the paperwork.
Okay.
So I can see something like that going on. But on the other hand, that's pretty wild for somebody to be saying, like, over the phone, like, hey, let's talk about this. Like, I don't know. I saw a tweet yesterday from Greg Himmelbrand that said, she is either the unluckiest innocent person ever, or she is the worst cheater ever.
Right.
At
this point, which one's more probable, being literally the unluckiest person in the world, or the other?
I mean, there's just so much shit going on. Like, is this just the most ironic moment in the world? Is that just what's happening right here? Like, what do you guys think?
I think
stinks, man.
I think there is another bigger issue here, which is the entire production.
Okay.
So, Conrad, you've worked with me a little bit. Bryan, you've worked with me a lot more. Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know, I've come from production. I've been working in productions ever since like 2011.
Big production man.
He is.
Yeah. Just to let you know, now this could be anecdotal, but I didn't really start hanging out or considering Bryan like a close friend until we started working in productions. Mm-hmm. My best friends come from productions, and that is because you're literally sitting there 12 to 16 hours for 14 to 21 days straight, and you're doing that nonstop. So literally everything that you do together in production. Right. To me, when I hear someone is compromised in production, mm-hmm. I'm not saying that everybody's compromised, but you have to stop.
Yeah.
Because now I just don't know who is safe in that production. Mm-hmm. You've right now shown that you've allowed people that should not be in the back to be in the back.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I want to also reframe. Everybody's saying the 15K was stolen. Mm-hmm. I really want to reframe that as the 15K was taken. The big difference between stolen is without permission. Mm-hmm. Taken can be with or without permission.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to go too hard down like the rabbit hole of what that 15K is yet.
That's what Connie's job's for.
But it is crazy, like what we're seeing right now, just with the facts of right now, the Hustler Casino Live production could be compromised, and there are still shows that are going on nonstop.
Right.
That to me is very worrying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what do you guys think? Brian, like, what is this? When you hear this, like, does this change anything for you? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Do you think these are one of the same? Like, or could you think these can be two separate entities that happen?
I mean, of course they could be two separate things, but it's just another, like, it's just something else it's so ironic. Like, it's so weird that it would happen that night. Right then. It's very
this
sus.
Was after
for
the
sure.
stream also. So this is after that hand happened, mm-hmm. after there was a big commotion about the hand, after he knows that those tapes are going to be reviewed. Mm-hmm. So I just don't understand why like he would be doing it on that day. Now, like, he may have done it before. Something's weird though.
Also,
this is just weird.
Also, it's just like you're taking $5,000 chips. It's not like you can just take take them off her stack, walk up to the cage and get cash
Well,
for
it's
them.
easy to.
Like,
you can sit down at a poker table and break them down really easily.
Apparently,
you'd have to play in a pretty big game and it'd be.
No, I mean you can play 5-10, 10-20.
Just to
break
jump
down
in
a
here,
5K
jump in
easily.
here. Let me jump in here real quick. Apparently, word on the street is that he was playing baccarat and stuff like this. He was playing on the casino floors and just playing bigger than he normally did.
I don't know how. Well, I've never been to Hustler, so I don't know. I just know like places in Vegas. If you have a 5K chip, they want to know where it's from a lot of times.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
maybe it's not the case there.
You just got to think about it. If you're in the community, you can easily get that 5K chip broken for 4,800.
Yeah,
not even a fucking question.
No, but that also, like, the rules are a little different in California.
I
believe Bart Hansen told us about that, where like the rules are not the same. Like they don't require as much stringent. It's just less stringent than
Less
over
stringent,
there. But
less
also
tracking,
similar
less-
to what Conrad said, if you're any sort of mid stakes player, like if someone that like I know loosely like hands me a Bellagio 5K and they're like, hey, can you swap this 5K for me for like some yellow? Like I'm like, sure, whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
No,
right.
Yeah,
it's common practice.
So that's fairly easy to get exchanged.
Yeah, getting those things off would be just like almost common practice basically for him. So like, Chin, what are you thinking? Chin, you're over there. Where does this lead you? Like,
sorry, the phones don't stop nowadays.
Why don't you have him call in? Have him call in.
Why don't you show us your phone?
Show you my phone. I don't even show my girl my phone.
You better.
I think that, look, I mean, it's a bad look, right, for the production house that this happened, unfortunately, to them, and also, unfortunately, for the production house, this looks really bad, and now it opened a can of worms that, like, potentially this is, a bigger issue. Maybe more than one bad actor, and that's really unfortunate because if that's not true, then they're taking the brunt of the blows because of Bryan.
Yeah. I think in the next, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think in the next coming days we're gonna find out a lot more about like how much Bryan did skim, and if this is the first time, they're obviously going to be covering every single stream that happened that they can still watch.
I'm interested.
In fairness to Hustler here, they did say that they would update us consistently on anything that would happen, whether good or bad. In this case, they didn't really have to disclose what they found, at least not immediately, right?
Yeah. Yep.
They could have let this go for a little longer, especially if she's not pressing charges. This could have stayed on the wraps, right?
I mean, it could have stayed on the wraps really because, the community talks, but at the same time, but
the only people that would know is Bryan, Nik, Ryan, and Robbi. Because the police is going to communicate with Robbi. Do you want to press charges? No. At that point, it's dead.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if there's anybody else there. But yeah, I do get what you're saying. Absolutely. I do want to say that. Sorry, Melissa. Just give me 1 second. I do want to say I think that Nik is doing a fucking great job with like being upfront because this is something that he definitely did not need to share with the rest of us. Sorry, Melissa.
I'm interested in what their vetting process is because Bryan tweeted that the production staff was thoroughly vetted and processed. What does that mean? Processed through the system? You got booked and that's how you've been processed? But thoroughly processed through the system. Not through the system. I added that. That was my head. Thoroughly booked and processed. Fuck.
It's just that chair. It's just the fucking chair.
I
can read, guy. It's just the fucking chair. We figured it out.
Vetted.
We figured it out.
Thoroughly vetted and processed. There it is. What does that mean? Because he has priors, a lot, including if this is the same person, which I think it is because somebody on his Twitter referred to him as Bryan Adam Sag Big Saul, as Conrad says it.
Yep.
So that's the same person, allegedly.
Yep. So
what is the process? What is the thoroughly vetted and processed? What were you processed through?
I mean, like, just because you have a record doesn't mean you can't get hired for a job. And like,
yeah, but why would your thorough vetting include allowing someone who has a prior, including robbery, to work on your production staff, where you can see whole card?
Yeah,
you can get all this information. You can easily steal. I mean, what's
the point of even doing
What's
it?
the point of vetting?
I mean, for what it's worth, there was probably no background check done. This is probably somebody that's in the poker community that was like poker adjacent, and
so there wasn't a
I don't
process.
personally know. Yeah, I mean, I don't personally know.
I mean, look. Let's not kind of bullshit. Like, most of what's happening here is like he gets a couple vouchers from people
So who vouched for him?
The management trust, and he's brought into the group, and they get a good vibe from him, and then he gets a chance. That's generally what's going to happen. They're not going to run a background check on him, I assume. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm saying, you know how jobs work. Mostly, it's who you know, right? So he knows someone, and then they bring him in, and they interview him. They get a good vibe. He knows what he's talking about, and you're in. You just get a shot.
So with sorry guys.
And that's what the dogs think about it.
Berkey left us with a fucking inspection today at the house, so we got all the pups here.
This chair giving me a contact high, man.
We got all the pups here, and it's lots going on here.
Hey, Connie, is this? I gotta tell Andre something.
Okay.
Andre, is this a good time to tell you about all my priors?
Tell us, what are they, Guapo?
Guapo, run it down for us, please.
From Andre's expression, I should probably just keep my mouth shut.
We haven't started the live stream, so you're good with your job. No background checks until the live stream starts.
Yep.
You're good. So, yeah. Bryan did go on and tweeted, like, "Hi, my name is Bryan. I'm the longest tenured employee at Hustler Casino Live. I started working for HCL as an audio tech. But at this point, I've moved up and done every job from audio to graphics and even cameras.
Very interesting. Oh, interesting.
I've poured my heart and soul into this. This situation is extremely upsetting, considering some people in the community want to try to drag Hustler Casino Live's name through the mud." Hold on, the dogs are trying to run my name through the mud. Relax, pups. What I know in fact.
Corey, what are you doing?
What I know for a fact, nobody in production is in collusion with any of the players. Our game integrity is the most secure in the industry. Now, I mean.
So.
This was 6 days ago.
So this tells me we should be very skeptical of anybody who came out right after this being very absolutist and saying 100%, don't look into this, because clearly he was full of shit.
Yeah, man, this shit is kind of wild.
Like, it's just crazy. How can you say stuff like that?
It was so crazy, real talk, that like I left a comment there, and I was like, "Oh, respect for like him coming out and saying all that shit."
Oh my god,
and
bad
then, like,
BTC, bad take.
I was
Chin.
wrong. Like, he got me.
Bad take Chin.
Okay, well that wasn't true.
Like 30% of the time we call Chin BTC. That's bad take Chin.
I swear, every time I'm listening to Joey's podcast and I'm like, this person's so full of shit, and then I just immediately see a message, "Bing, this guy seems legit," from Chin. From Chin. Every time.
It's honestly 30% is probably low ball.
I like how we had a harmony of shitting on Chin at the same time, too.
It was a moment.
You were like, "Chin, how can you possibly think this?"
Because you guys are so binary. You guys are like,
no,
completely full. It's all a scale. Like, not everyone is 100% lying all the time.
I know, but you're just so off base.
You tend to swing the opposite direction, though.
It's almost like you're just naive sometimes.
Sometimes, maybe.
I want to believe people. That's the truth.
That's
like,
probably
I
your
want
first fucking
people-
problem.
I expect them to tell
As someone from the East
somewhat
Coast,
of the
you should know that that's not a thing that we do.
Yeah, you need to be more skeptical.
That's
Come
not
on.
a thing. It's true.
We grew up around the scumbags of the East Coast.
It's so funny because Michelle always says that. She's like, "You're not from New York. That's why you think everyone's such a good person."
You think everybody's nice?
It's true. You see enough
she's
people,
like-
you learn that you see in front of you the percentage.
Yep. Yeah.
And
All right, so let me go back to this real quick because this is the first time I've actually been on the podcast for talking about any of this stuff. I know very intimately the complete poker graphic system that they're using. I think more than Berkey as well. I talked to Berkey a lot about this because he was saying some things that I just disagreed with.
I just have to stop you there. You know, for Berkey's literally like, "Yeah, fucking right, Andre. There's no way you know GFX better than me."
No. Literally, we had a conversation for like an hour.
I'm sorry,
about
I'm
all
just
this.
messing
No, it's okay. But to say that you have the tightest security on this stuff is just preposterous. Like, if you don't know other systems, I'm not saying Poker GFX, there's anything inherently wrong with it, but there are definitely other systems that can be a lot more robust than Poker GFX. There can definitely be different ways which you can set up the server and the clients that makes it a lot more robust. I don't want to speculate too hard, but any single Poker GFX setup that I've ever seen is not that great. The best that I've seen, and not to toot my own horn, was in Run It Up Reno, but it's because we had Nevada State Gaming and we had the most anal poker room director where it's literally not only is the server like sequestered in another room, it's under 24-hour surveillance. There has to be like a person with a gun behind the door.
Nice.
All the wires get checked every single time. People can't leave that room. So if they want like food and stuff, we need to bring it to them.
That was Jimmy?
No. So there is a very robust system that can happen. To be clear, California doesn't have any of that. They don't have any state gaming
Right.
regulation. You can literally set this up at any casino without any board checking whether or not this is okay. So I'm not shitting on all productions right now. What I am doing is saying, hey, to say the claim that this is the most secure stream, I was coming up with all these different ways of, everybody has these RFID technology nonsense solutions. There's way easier solutions to break Poker GFX if you are being very nefarious. And
you don't have to give those up.
Yeah.
Correct. But
I want to be a little bit clear though, because like what happened here is you had an employee that he's not an executive of the company. And he is the one saying, "Oh, we have the most secure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera," when he has no knowledge of the landscape and is not necessarily a top level executive.
Right. Well, he
kind of
qualifies
spoke out of pocket in this spot. To be
Maybe he
completely
did.
honest with you.
Maybe he did, but there is one thing that he does say here. I've started working for HCL as an audio tech, but at this point, I've moved up and done every job from audio to graphics and even cameras.
He thought he ate.
And like that means that he's been doing. He has access.
I mean,
to
he
other
was doing
things.
that to qualify himself as to why he's capable of speaking on this, and it really just made him look worse. It's like, oh, you had access to all this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it made everybody look worse because it's like, wait, not everybody should have access to this.
Right.
Right, but still.
And then it's like, on the one hand,
remains,
like
the fact that he has access doesn't mean he's qualified to understand what is high level security, what is not high level security. He doesn't understand the landscape at all. He understands the scope of his job.
Correct. And that's why we are targeting this statement in particular that says, hey, we have the highest security in all the lands.
Yeah.
Like that is a preposterous statement. And, we know this retroactively, like, hey, this guy is shady and now everything that he says is shady. I'm saying if he wasn't shady, this statement is just...
It's a very get off our backs statement.
Yeah.
Like, don't look here.
Correct.
Nothing to see here. Get off our backs. That's a very like. That's what that's telling
You
me.
hold that thought.
All
That
right.
get off my back thing. All right.
Okay.
You just hold on to that. Put it in your back pocket. What was that?
Are you moving on?
No, go on.
The other thing I want to mention is 15K is a lot of K to not know is missing. I think that's the other thing that's being swept under the rug.
But 15K, 200K, it don't matter.
No. But think about it. You're up 150K.
Yeah.
135K you gave back. You have 15K profits. And now you have 0 profits.
You never noticed this?
That's really, really crazy to me.
Yep.
They're not noticed.
And not only you don't recognize this, but RIP, the backer, doesn't recognize this. This is like...
And it's the biggest game you've ever played in.
Yeah.
The biggest game you ever played, the most money you've had on the table industry, maybe private, whatever. But... And
Again,
you do not notice it.
I'm not-
it is
I'm not-
wild, right? It is absolutely wild.
The number obviously is crazy, and I don't want to speculate too much into this unless we're on the conspiracy theories side of the segment.
Yeah.
But again, 15K is a lot of K to just
Honestly.
not have.
Speculate all you want, baby.
And it's
Well, it's weird. And the thing that is weird to me is it seems like when I hear her talk about monetary amounts, it sort of is she says the money doesn't matter when that suits the point she's trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
In other times, she says that's an expensive pot. That's a big pot. That's a lot of money when it suits that point she's trying to make, which bothers me because it's like, well, which one is it?
Yeah, you have to be so. I have no idea how much money Robbi has, but you have to be so rich, right, to say $200,000 doesn't matter at all. I mean, how much money could, like, if you had 10 million, if you had $20 million, 200,000 still is a lot of money. So how much money could you possibly have where $200,000 doesn't matter?
I don't even know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
Andre, how much money do you think?
Do I think what?
You need to have the $200,000 means nothing.
Probably 200 million.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Right.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knows?
Maybe
So-
she does.
With this going on, we kind of speculated a little bit of why this is bigger than just the money. Like, this could possibly lead to an inside man or something like that. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought.
What do we think about that?
Yeah, kind of. Like, what do you think about this inside man? Like, do we think that this is like 100%? Like, do you think
Nothing's
that
100%.
not 100? But are you more on the scale? What's the side of the scale are you on right now?
Well, I honestly was sort of like not interested in this and was being very skeptical of everything until this came out, and there's some alarm bells going off for me, and the more I hear her talk and just not even what she's saying, but seeing how often she's talking and how much she's talking to media and all this stuff, and the way and it also is the way she talks, and so something is just not adding up for me here.
Yep.
And this just seems really weird. I think there's still more to be discovered, but I'm definitely more on the cheating side than I was sort of like, I didn't even really have a number before because I was like, this could just be really ridiculous.
Yeah, you were very hands off and
because I was like,
caring.
we could just be being mentally ill.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, okay, this is weird. This 15K thing is weird.
No, of course.
So
Bryan, how you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
Like, does this slide your scale?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Like-
Of course, it has to. I think you can't ignore when more stuff comes to light. So we see this happen, and then we see, I know we're gonna get into the DM that Bryan sent Robbi, which is just weird in itself, and it might be nothing. It might be absolutely nothing. It might be maybe he just sent that, but like there's a lot of things surrounding that that are a little sus as well, and then you just keep adding these things. And I don't know, maybe it is just all one big coincidence, but
I mean,
it's becoming harder and harder to rationalize that.
I'm gonna go on tape right now. If this is one big coincidence, which it might be, this is gonna make the best fucking FX movie ever, ever. Netflix, FX, something.
Yep.
Hulu.
Well, what would make a better movie, if it's a coincidence or if it's not?
Wow, you can make so many. Both good. Both versions are very good.
Yeah.
Like both versions of that movie is just absolutely awesome. I don't know. LA's gonna have fun with this one. That's all I know.
I legit got I placed it in our group chat. Like there's a guy that wants to meet to like discuss building a documentary on this already. Like he's from New York City. It's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So like people are probably already building this stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you see something, you jump on it.
So to answer your question in regards to the inside man theory and that, the thing that we can talk about is simply that it went from us, kind of like conspiracy type of stuff to like, okay, well, unfortunately for Hustler, now this thing has some legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, who does this person work with? How now we need to like watch all the tapes, and not we particularly, but like their firm that they hired needs to watch all the tapes, see who he's interacting with, does he exchange money with people? All these type of things are now in play because of this one person.
Have you ever met internet poker? We was correct. Yes, we was correct. The community will be watching this. Every single hand that's gone on.
Yeah,
here.
but we just don't have all the tapes.
Yeah.
It's like, so we have the stream, but like they have the tapes of the casino.
Yeah, security
right.
cam.
So like that's what I'm referring to. Like we have a very small scope in this one table with the camera angles that they're giving us.
I will say
they have all the angles.
I hope that, because obviously this was going to bring scrutiny to Hustler, I hope that this does not sway them in their promise to be transparent with all information that comes out. And I hope that this sort of backlash, I mean, obviously this is going to happen. Obviously there's going to be skepticism raised when one of who says he's the longest tenured employee, says he was vetted, ends up being a thief or whatever it is. Like, obviously there's going to be scrutiny, but like, to go, if they were, and not that they've said that they would, but if they were to go back on the promise of being transparent about information after this, I would lose a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, I honestly don't see that happening. I think that they're doing really good, and I think that they're going to continue to do a good job with this investigation. I think it means a lot to, I don't know, I can't speak for Ryan, but I've heard Nik's voice a few times, and I think this means a lot to him. And I think he's going to try to get to the bottom of this and let everybody know what the fuck's going on during the process.
To me, this is the missing piece that we've been looking for. If there was some sort of criminal act that was committed.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I think I was more so, Andy had a really good reaction where he was sitting there and he was like, wow, this is a really fucking crazy hand. But how could any of this have been compromised? Like, everything's solid here.
Yep.
Right? And that's why he kept playing. He felt very confident that there was nothing shady going down.
I would disagree with you.
His face
he saw a ghost.
A little disturbed.
When that happened,
but you also have to think, Garrett has just stood up. This is a very juicy table. He was just trying to get some hands in.
Sure. My man said, let's keep this game
he said,
going.
Sit down.
Yeah. I want to rock.
But regardless, I think what we were missing was, even if there was intent to do something bad, we didn't know how. So that's why we're looking at vibrating chairs. That's why we're looking at, a ring being flipped around that, that could very easily be just fidgeting.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
And now all of a sudden we have that connecting piece that gets, this person has the access to everything. And this person is capable of disseminating information that can ruin everything.
And whether or not
this is a problem.
And whether or not, if it's true or not, it brings a lot more eyes onto the situation. Like, just hunkering down on it. Like, oh shit, this is true. So like this could happen. So a lot of people that are saw this one way as not cheating, that because there's nothing that can happen behind the scenes. Like they're moving slowly the other way, I think, right now.
I think so. Because everybody sees it. If I put on my conspiracy hat right now, it's, hey, I'm this guy. You're gonna take whatever you want from, you know, this 1 or 2 huge pots, and then I'm going to take the rest. And that's, you know, that's really what happened. 135K plus the 15K is 150. She won 150 that night, right? Everybody kind of sees it as that 15K was, or could have been, the payment for getting that information, right? I know there was like a blog that came out that like he owed money. There's intent for him to make money very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
that does equal exactly 10% of what he stole from the stack. Like if you counted the money that she gave back that night, like that's exactly 10%, and that's kind of.
And again, you're a poker player, right? Like the story of her being innocent is also so difficult for me to put together and believe.
Yeah.
There's a person here, I'm the backer, let's say, and I'm willing to know that the person that I'm backing is significantly worse than me, but I'm 4xing her stack or 8xing her stack compared to me.
Yeah.
That's so incredulous.
Let's stay a little bit on point, right? Because we're talking about Bryan and the relationship with Hustler and Hustler handling it. We could then talk about Robbi later, but I guess like let's wrap up the Bryan Hustler and the way Hustler's handling it type of thing.
So what do you think? Talk to me.
I think that what they've done is significantly different than what we're used to seeing, where like when this happened at Stones, we didn't get an update ever. Anytime there's like some sort of like the history of companies when there are situations like this has been to go silent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? They completely go silent. And I think Nik told us that he wasn't going to go silent, and they haven't gone silent, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So whether this is like some crazy thing that we don't know that we're beginning to unravel, at least they're like, I guess, keeping us in the loop. I don't know how to explain
I thought
it, but like,
that
at
was
least
very
I appreciate
good.
the fact that they're doing what they
I
said
thought
they
it
would
was
do.
great, and there was very speedy. Like they came out with it and they just said it point blank. I appreciate that. My point was that I hope that they continue to do that despite the backlash.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you.
There's always going to be backlash. Like we knew it. I think they knew it too, right? Like,
yeah.
Of course.
When they were like, "Oh, we had this guy that stole 15K," they knew this shit was going to open a can of worms.
Yeah.
Oh man, could you imagine that conversation, guys? Somebody on our staff stole 15 fucking K from somebody's stack. The fucking internet is going to eat us alive.
How is there? So that's interesting to me. So I'm not really sure how that works in terms of legal. Like, she didn't want to pursue charges, but like, can Hustler do it? I'm not really sure how
I don't
this,
think so,
how
'cause
this
she was the
works, to be
victim.
honest.
Go, repeat.
She was the victim, so I don't think so.
Yeah,
She has to press charges.
I don't
But
know.
there's also like damage to the Hustler brand.
I mean, they could
right?
probably
For
do
this?
a lawsuit or
Agree.
something.
Yeah, I know that I know he is not an employee
like
of
he
the
has any
Hustler
money, though.
Casino. I
Right.
believe he's an employee of
Right.
Hustler Casino
The
Live,
High
or
Stakes
High Stakes
Productions.
Production, yes, which is Nik and Feldman's stream. So I'm not exactly sure what the connection is there, and like if they can press charges against him. You would think the
Yeah, I'm not
casino.
sure.
You would think the casino, if he worked for the casino, something would take place,
Yeah,
right?
but he doesn't.
But if he did,
Yeah, but they probably, they probably don't want any bad publicity and shit. Like,
No, of course.
Maybe, I don't know.
But like exploring this option, do you guys think that like if he worked for Hustler Casino, the Hustler Casino could press charges against him?
No,
Well,
it's
the
not their
chips-
property that got stolen.
Technically,
Right?
it
Or
is,
is it?
right? Isn't it their chips?
The chips?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't
don't
seem
know.
like it's that.
I'm sure it's
important.
very gray. Obviously, it's very
Yeah, I'm
gray.
just curious.
So
I
we-
feel
we
like
don't really know.
everybody would be able to
Press charges.
press charges against
Understood.
him, right? Like I agree with you, Chin. The damages is a big problem. Even if
Pretty sure you have to be the victim to press charges.
But
Yeah, but
if
he's
I'm Hustler
damaging a
Casino,
brand
or
to
if
the
I'm
You
High
can
Stakes,
sue him.
Yeah.
You can't.
Okay, I see.
Can't put him in criminal court. You have to.
No,
be
no,
the
it's not
victim.
criminal, right?
You
It
have
might
to.
not
You
be
can
criminal,
sue
but
him
he
in civil
definitely-
court.
Yeah.
That makes a lot
those
of
are
sense.
two different things we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the justice system.
In the criminal justice system. Yeah.
Wow, that sounded just
Dun,
like
dun.
fucking dun dun dun.
That's the wrong
I don't think it goes
we
dun
need
dun
that.
dun.
We need
Yo,
that clip.
you know
for
what it
this
is?
Entire thing.
It's doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's the fiddle. They play the fiddle.
Oh, yeah,
the
right.
fiddle.
Anyway, moving on. So
That's
let's
a recorder.
Yo, relax, all right? Don't talk about the fiddle like that. All right. So I saw on Twitter this morning. How the fuck is this all happening within 24 hours? That's all I really want to know.
kills me.
Like, this shit is crazy. It has not stopped. It literally has not stopped. There has to be a good, I don't know, 2,000 messages in our group. It's absurd. So
2,000.
Who knows?
Try 20,000.
So this morning, Robbi Jade Lou posted on her Twitter this message from Bryan. And I'm going to read it for her. It says, "Hi, Robbi. My name is Bryan. I'm the kid who stole 3 chips off your stack. I was working.
I'm the kid.
I was working.
Who happens to be a father as well, who
But
calls himself
now-
a kid apparently.
But now I'm fired. I'm in a really bad I'm in a really bad place financially, and my debt was adding up. I'm only 24 with 2 kids, and I have no education. I got desperate, and I honestly didn't know whose stack I took the 3 chips off of. But it happened to be yours. Robbi, I believe you. Someone who was so kind to give the money back to crybaby Garrett and kind enough to spare me. Wouldn't be as nice as you are. I don't think you
can't,
cheated.
man.
I never did.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think everyone is fucking stupid, and they're defaming an honest person's name because these pros can't fathom how you read this amazing cash game player for his shit and called him.
She wrote this.
So she had to have written this. It's
It's
Guys,
All right,
there's
go
some
on,
more.
go on.
There's
Relax.
so much more. Please,
Relax,
please.
all right?
It's so hard to get through.
Guapo,
though.
switch to all of it.
All right.
We have to.
You
Okay.
100% had the power to press charges, but you chose not to. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I'm really, really genuinely sorry from the bottom of my heart for stealing. I made a split-second decision that has now ruined my reputation and caused me to lose my only source of income. My life is fucked, even if I never have to spend a minute in jail. I'm glad you understand that pressing charges would have only made my life worse. I wish you were here so I can give you a hug and tell you I'm actually sorry. I grew up poor.
No, switch back to this shit.
I still am.
This is the most. Oh my god.
I left at 18 to fend for myself.
Oh my God.
My mom was a meth addict, and my dad and I had a rocky relationship. Being at the poker table for me was an escape. Being at the casino was the only sense of home that I felt. My life fucking sucks.
What the fuck is that?
I was slaving away at HCL, getting paid bare minimum, and getting used by them to help them accomplish their goals of starting this show. I just wanted to reach out personally and say thank you for saving my life. Thank you for sparing me. Thank you for getting me out of that toxic workplace. Thank you for changing my outlook on kindness and having a genuine heart and what having a genuine heart means. I'm behind you 100%. I always have been. Please, let me know if there's anything I can do to repay you. I just fell on really hard times. I didn't know anyone that could help me.
I wish I could give you a hug.
I'm willing to do anything. Hard labor, clerical work. I'll do anything to show you I'm sorry. If you want, you can reach me at 555-333-0202. Oh, we got a response. So then Robbi responds, "Are you able to get on the Joey Ingram podcast tonight?"
Yeah, that's a crazy response.
That is the most insane response.
And Bryan says, "Yeah, I can." How fucking awesome is that, guys? Bryan is going on the goddamn Joey Ingram podcast today. I can't wait to watch that.
Oh my God.
All right.
I just want to. I don't
feel
want to
like-
leave any words out.
Wait.
Wait,
Can you
Chin, hold on. I don't want to
imagine-
leave any words out. Do you mind if I tweet this out? I will black out your number. Okay, that's all. I just want to make sure I felt the whole
listen.
thing.
What would be the wildest show tonight on Joey's pod would be if Nick Vertucci and Bryan are on at the same time.
Oh my God.
I mean,
like, I don't think it's gonna happen because, like, but that's like must see TV. Like, what? Like,
I mean,
This is like the coming off. I'm gonna, preface this. I'm not trying to get sued, but this is coming off as like the most shitty crime job ever. Like, that letter is so suspect. Who the fuck talks like that?
Honestly, it's almost like she's trolling.
It feels like she's trolling.
Guys, what do you mean? It's almost like. What are you guys talking about? This message is from Bryan.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's almost like she's trolling.
She's like, I'm gonna write this most
So what is this, a Lifetime movie?
Ridiculous thing and put it out there. Say Bryan send it to me, but like it's so obvious that
we got to work in
okay,
conspiracy.
okay.
Also,
let me
send us the link to
reframe
this new Twitter account he has, apparently.
Oh.
Because didn't he delete it?
Yeah.
So
we
what
don't
Twitter
know,
account is this?
We
Send
don't
us
know
the
where
link.
it's from. Okay, let me reframe this first, okay?
Shoot.
Looking at this message, let's just assume that this is a sincere note, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you are Robbi. You are innocent, and you're deliberating whether or not you should post this public to vindicate you.
If I get that, I'm pressing charges. Like, how dare you? Because how dare you try and gaslight and manipulate me into thinking that you're some sad sack after you stole from me?
Yeah, well, that's. But would you ever say I'm gonna post this publicly to vindicate my name because this makes me look more credible in the grand scheme?
Well, it promotes her story.
Look, the theory of
That
why
she's a
this
kind,
is
charitable woman.
The idea of it does, but the way it's written, the way it sounds, the way it comes off, sounds terrible.
Especially the way Conrad read it.
The theory of why the people that are arguing that she posted this for some reason, the theory that why she posted this is because last night she was on Joey's podcast and told Haralabos and Sean Deeb and Joey that she was going to press charges so that they could just shut up, so that this whole thing could go away and that no one is implicating her attached to him.
Yeah.
Now, this morning, like, you see this letter that is being written by Bryan, allegedly to her, apologizing and doing all these things. And now I'm sure that what the people are going to theorize is that she's no longer going to press charges because she received this letter.
Oh, no, look, see, I shouldn't press charges. I'm just too nice, you fucking Harry Potter bitch.
All right, so we can't go past it anymore. We can't go past it anymore. You guys have already played it. Joey Ingram's fucking live stream was off the chains last night. We have to talk about it now. They've already started it. Guapo, please roll that clip for us from Harbs.
Why don't you tell us how you're doing and say hi to the chat and say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. I was actually at a dinner just trying to get a break and kind of have like a normalcy in some level of life. And Sean and me go back from like where I think like we're cool and then we're not cool. And I think we're not cool because there's like an element of him trying to get me to convince like this some fucking bullshit whistleblower crap, which I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And who the fuck is Bill Perkins? It's one of those things where I'm like, like, what are we even talking about here? And people are like, oh, you're following this, like, I don't even know his name, the Filipino guy that stole money from me. I follow people that follow Hustler Casino, that support me, and it's kind of like a temper. I haven't met 99.5% of the people that I follow. And I think I even followed Sean Deebs before I knew who the fuck he was. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm not paying attention to that. I don't really care. And then he comes at me and he goes, oh, this whistleblower, 250,000. I'm like, what the F are you talking about? And he's like, well, Bill Perkins wants you to come clean with Haralabos, whoever the fuck that is.
We're not trying to railroad you. Haralabos Voulgaris is also.
Come on the chat with me. Why
It sounds like some Harry Potter fucking magician. I have no idea who the fuck that is. And from what I've heard, like, lots of people don't. And like, I'm like, I don't care about like Bill Clinton or Bill Perkins. I don't know who the hell these guys are.
I can't, bro. The Bill Clinton, Bill Perkins, Haralabos. This shit was so sick, bro.
I can't tell you how hard I laughed over these live streams last couple of days.
That was the best part of the whole stream. And then she continues to like rail him on the Harry Potter thing. But Haralabos is pure class, man.
Haralabos is a fucking goat.
I mean, honestly, my respect meter for him went up.
Did you see how much of a goat that man handled himself last night?
He handled that so well. So much better than I would have been able to handle that.
Yo, he handled every type of situation last night. Juwan owed him money. He's like, yo, Juwan, what's up with that 350?
You can tell, though, like, you can tell he's dealt with people like this before.
Yeah, he's in sports betting, so that's what he does. So, Haralabos, I'm sorry, I can't even speak. I'm going to butcher your name. Haralabos Voulgaris. He is poker adjacent.
Haralabos Voulgaris.
Yes. He comes from a sports betting background, I believe. He did an analytic job with the Mavs. A very high up analytic job with the Mavs. Like
his job at the Mavs was very like undisclosed to the public. I would say he had like strategic role as like based on like all the analytics he had.
Yeah, because they don't want other teams doing what he was doing.
They had a fallout like because like him and the point guard were like arguing, and then they like basically like he left at that point.
and to be clear, just like show you how big of an impact this man was into sports betting of basketball and stuff. Like he got hired by the fucking Mavs for strategy on like just from his analytics stuff. Like, this guy is a GOAT.
Right.
He is a straight-up GOAT. He's well-respected by everybody in our community. And that's just enough to tell you, like, a lot, you know, about him. Because, you know, we hold our...
And also, I think we haven't really mentioned this, but there is, like, a $200,000 and $100 bounty.
$215,000
and
$100.
So, $215,000 and $100 bounty to whoever can prove that it...
Yep. So last night on the pod, Bill Perkins had came on and offered a $35K bounty, I believe it was, and Sean Deeb was saying I got 15 as well. Well, Will Jaffe said I got $100 on it. And then Haralabos heard this and he's like, "Well, Bill's so fucking rich. How about you, Matt? I'll put up 100. You put up 100."
Yeah.
So that quickly went.
This is how rich people flex.
Yo, they're having so much fun. Yo, we'll talk about rich people flexing. Haralabos said, you know, I haven't played in a while, and he's like, I actually played the other night, and you know, we were playing. He had to do that. So I did the because he had to do the translation of math from whatever he was playing in to fucking dollars, and he's like, yeah, about 5K, 10K.
Yeah.
I lost my shit when he said that.
Yeah. Okay, so I just think it's really weird how she talks about how like she's been in the poker community. She wants to take poker really seriously. Apparently she stays up super late studying every night till 6 a.m. This is a quote by her husband.
Yep, Charles Liu.
Shout out Charles Liu, metaverse lawyer. So like it's just weird to me. And again, this is the same type of thing where it just seems like when she speaks, she uses these extremes to support her case when it makes sense, and then will use the opposite extreme to support her case when it makes sense, which is just completely suspicious to me. I think that's weird. Why are you doing that?
So what you're saying is she's dragging like...
Well, she's saying, I don't know who this... I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are.
He's one of the biggest respected people in our community.
Like, these are people who are respected in our industry. Like, Bill Perkins has been a topic of conversation in, like, poker news before. Haralabos, like, all over poker Twitter. And, like... She says that on one day she says she's really involved in the community, and then the next day she's, I don't know who the fuck you are. You guys are clout chasing me.
Yeah, you know,
so this is just weird to me. There's a lot of, it's just weird.
Well, this is going back from the beginning, right? All the inconsistencies and all the different things that she said, and this is why Berkey said he's like, I don't know a lot, but I know she lies a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks like she's lying a lot.
These are some of the bulwarks inside of our community that hold a lot of this together. That are the reason. Like we look up to a lot of these people. as like the apex predators of their respective industries, and then they've transitioned into poker or are poker adjacent and are doing really well. And it's crazy because what I think happened was if you look at all of her followers or who she's following like the titans of the industry. You know, like it's growing.
It's growing now, but yeah.
I was looking at that because I was like, okay, what's her follower rate? Like, who are the type of people she's following? Because she was following Bryan, and I know that was a big controversy. It doesn't really say anything, but I was just thinking, like, okay, what is the tendency for her to follow plebs? And she doesn't follow plebs, right? Like, it was very suspicious to me.
Okay.
But going back to this, I think what happened is Haralabos didn't show up in our radar, so she just assumes, like, okay, these people are Nobody's,
yeah.
So I'm not going to give them any respect, which is crazy to me. Like,
well, the funny part is she said, I asked about you. I believe she said, I asked about you and nobody knows you or something along those lines. And like, she was talking about Haralabos and Perkins.
Right. Well, and then at one point she says, I don't have a publicist. I don't know who you are. But then later on says, and he goes, you don't need a publicist to know who I am. You're around on Twitter. And then later on says, well, my publicist told me to do this.
I mean,
there was a discrepancy between publicist and PR. So she said publicist, and then he asked her why.
She's referring to the same thing.
Well, yeah. Well, he was like, "Why do you have a publicist? Like, I thought you want to be out of the out of the public eye."
But this was in two different points.
But when she said publicist, she meant PR.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
She's
Yeah,
talking.
she meant
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My point
scenarios.
stands. She's referencing the same thing. She says, "I don't have a publicist. I don't know who you are," and then later says, "My publicist X this."
So basically, the words just keep on.
It's just something. It's like, why do you keep lying though? Like, it's like I wanted to, give her the benefit of the doubt, and now it's just like, why do you keep lying?
Yeah, it's like she said she owes $135K now to RIP.
Yep.
And that's not how backing deals work.
Nope. Not at all.
If she did actually owe the money.
I mean, if the backer feels like you did something that was not in the like if the backer feels like you did something wrong, like, and you like gave money away or lost money, or like in an unethical way or whatever, then the backer could make a claim that you did something that was outside of the agreement, and now you actually owe the money.
Chin.
Oh, the 100% instead of the 50%?
Yeah. Or well, it would be 50%.
Right.
Right. Like,
no, she'll owe the full amount. Like, say.
Oh, it's a makeup.
If I'm backed and I just give someone money, like, I can't do that
without
at least getting approval from my backer.
The full amount would go to makeup,
okay,
or whatever the situation may be. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to really think about it. You know, one thing that keeps sticking out in my head. The first day of Joey's investigation, Charles Liu was on there. And he actually was very well spoken. He sounded amazing, actually.
He sounded like a lawyer.
He came off fucking great, man. And he said one thing. It was something about, I can't wait for the truth. The truth will come out, and it's not always the person that with the loudest person with the microphone that is right and stuff like that.
What does that?
I didn't paraphrase it word for word, but basically, I've seen a lot of fucking talking going on from people that probably shouldn't be talking.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Like, your husband is a lawyer, and you have been on a live stream, what?
Yearly,
5 out of 6 days? The only day that she was not on a live stream is when she said our lawyer said that she should not be talking anymore.
The lawyer quit.
The lawyer said she shouldn't be talking anymore. The night that she was supposed to come on this show. On, I don't know what day of the week it is. It's all a blur now. But she did say that. Go.
Sorry. I watched that show as well. And that was the same night that Doug Polk released his video. And they were talking about like their personal relationships, the fact that, there might be some like cheating going on and things like that. And he, referring to Charles, was insulted by that, and he came on angrily and firing shots, indirectly, I guess you would say, at the Hulk saying, you have the loudest mic, but you should not be talking type of thing. So he wasn't necessarily referring to everyone, but that was certainly directed at Doug.
Yeah,
but
I don't care who he's referring to.
I am understanding your point in that you're saying it's kind of ironic that he said that, but he now has his wife who's implicated in all this actually with the loudest mic. So
you know something?
Irony in what you're saying and what he was saying.
Chin, it's not even just the wife. It's everybody involved. Everybody that seems to like
be talking when they shouldn't.
Everybody just seems to be talking. You know, I don't know the guy that got her into the game. I don't even know his name. There's just so much. Why is everybody talking? I don't understand it. Like, everybody just has an excuse for absolutely everything that happened, and that's not how life works, in my opinion.
I don't want to go that far because, in fairness, like if you're accused that and you stay completely silent, then people will say, well, you know, the silence is telling. Like, and then if you say stuff, then people are saying like you shouldn't talk. So it's like you can't win either way.
Yeah. I agree to that.
I do agree with that. I do. But like, you know, every day of the week, like 7 days a week at 1 a.m. Like, I don't know. I don't know how far that goes.
To me, guys, this is just personal for how she came off yesterday on Joey's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was just a very mean person yesterday.
Okay.
It was just very unlikable.
Elaborate.
She was really mean to Bob.
I thought she was very mean to Haralabos and to an extent to Sean.
Yeah.
But I know Sean, like, you know, Sean's like
Sean.
He goes into this Paul Blart bad cop mode.
Yeah,
and
I fucking love it.
He'll be like, hold on, Joey. So where were you on the night of October 3rd?
Yeah,
it's like he turns into a bad cop.
Him and Veronica together are like just like A and B. Like they're just like the detective squad. I don't know how to put it, but like they just
strange occurrence.
A very strange occurrence. Strange occurrences are going on here. If you guys watched Joey's stream last night, you know about the strange occurrence.
But yeah, I just felt like she was mean. She was unnecessarily aggressive. Look, I get it too. If she is innocent and all of this shit is coming down, it's painful to just like sit there and just take it.
No, absolutely. I agree with that.
But literally she had most of the community just saying like, oh, she is saint-like.
Yep.
She is the person, you know, Garrett is the douchebag here and Garrett needs to give back the money immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And she keeps opening her mouth and there's just an inconsistency of the story. It's very unharmonious. Yeah. There's a lot of dissonance with
it gives me flashbacks to like every encounter I've had with, not saying that I'm not diagnosing. I am in an armchair. I'm not going to armchair diagnose or do any of that, but I'm just saying it's very reminiscent to every single conversation I've had with like a narcissist. And I've had a bunch of them.
That payoff was really good.
Oh man. So yeah,
I think there was a chance. She said she just left dinner and stuff. Like there is a chance that she just had a couple drinks, was pissed off. Like
he was driving though. What are you saying?
Shaw Deep texting her like, "I want to play you heads up for $1 million." Blah blah blah. And she got pissed and she came on and just started blasting.
She was driving though, man. What are you saying about her driving?
Yeah, you were trying to say she was drinking and driving.
Saying she's drunk driving?
Yeah. That's the thing. You're trying to say she was drinking and driving.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying she could have, and I don't know. Maybe she was in her driveway and she took an Uber and then just like, oh, this is the quietest spot, and you just stayed in her car. I have no idea. I'm not alleging anything.
She went in the house.
Stay safe out there.
Anyway, so, I don't know how you guys saw her, but I didn't see her in the most positive light, Connie.
Yeah, I mean, do you have something to say? I heard somebody.
No, I was just breathing.
All right. Well, congratulations on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
happy to be alive.
To me, like I thought she came off great to the public. Like I thought she came off great to not the community. To the outside public, like Chin. You know,
she's
BTC.
Not coming off well to anyone.
Bad take Chin, he was ready for it.
Yeah, but that's, you know why though? Because Chin's a simp.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna throw Chin.
She's not coming off well to anyone who has the radar for this kind of shit.
I'm not gonna do that to my boy Chin, but I do know.
No offense, but it seems like there's a common thread among a lot of the people who are.
Oh, Jade. I'm sorry, Jade. I didn't even do that
Not a
to you.
simp, Chim.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that to you. Just BTC. That's all I'm about.
Little simp.
Bad take, Chin. That's all
I'm
that
not
we're
sure
going.
if the screen is frozen.
Yeah, look, Chin isn't a simp. He just has simpy qualities, okay?
Right. I'm bad
He
takes.
gives
That's all.
the benefit of the doubt a lot.
All right, that might be it. He just gives the
Okay?
benefit of the
Okay,
doubt. All right.
that's it.
You know, we don't have to call him a simp.
not
Just
a
gives
simp.
the benefit of the doubt, and he has very bad takes due to it. So that's why we call him BTC sometimes.
It's just like anyone who's dealt with someone who uses these tactics before, you immediately get alarm bells. And I just have seen this type of thing a lot. And it doesn't necessarily mean she's guilty, but this type of personality is a very characteristic one.
Look, we need a balance in our group, right? Like, everyone's just like, "Wow, you're a fucking liar, you're a bitch, you're all this shit." Like, okay, then I need to be like, listen, maybe. Not
Okay, but
all
what do
of
you
it is
actually
false.
think?
And then I get the attack of like,
what do you actually
think?
think? What do you actually think, though?
Come on, let us know.
We want to know, what do you actually think, not just trying to balance us out.
I think there's a lot of stuff that is gonna come out eventually, and I don't know. I don't know if she did it. That's
not the question. That's not the question. The question is, what do you actually think about how she came off last night?
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
What I think she came off. I think she came off at rightfully being upset at some things. Like people are like challenging. Like people are taking opportunistic shots at like, oh, you want to play heads up, and then like she says she wants to play. Like people are like messaging her, playing her heads up, challenging her for millions.
Yeah, I
of
think
dollars,
that's kind of lame
whatever.
for what it's
and
worth.
like she's just like, let me fucking get off.
I think
like,
that's.
get off
I think
my
it's pretty.
I don't need this on top of the fact.
No, but
that
to piggyback off what Chin is saying, like if you take it from the perspective that she did nothing wrong, right, and she is innocent, it's a very normal reaction what she had last night. Like,
I mean,
she's pissed about all this shit happened. Like, leave it alone. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why do you guys keep like, going further and further and further when I did nothing wrong? So like, if she is innocent, that has to be really fucking frustrating for her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look, the reason why I felt like she came off rightfully upset is because this is now the 5th or 6th day that we are doing like multiple hour streams with multiple people doing takes and whatever. And on top of that, I'm sure that she's getting challenged, so to speak, on these heads up matches on top of that. So she's
I want to push back.
That's the part that I understood.
I'm cutting you off for a second. I want to push back real quick. She texted Deeb last night and said, I want to play Perkins for $2 million and I'll play you for $1 million heads up.
See, this is what's crazy to me.
But that is a response. You understand that that's a response to like when she says I'll play anyone heads up, she then receives messages of people saying I'll play, and then that's how the whole thing starts. It's not that she openly started that conversation.
But this is also like hardcore Dunning-Kruger, right? Like
Can you explain Dunning-Kruger to me?
Dunning-Kruger is when there's two cognitive.
It's like
afflictions.
when you play mixed games.
Exactly. It's exactly when you play.
You guys are absolutely. I can't use the word I want to use. But you guys are absurd.
Unskilled people think that they have they do have supreme confidence in whatever ability that is happening. So, for example, if I were to tout that I am the tallest man in the world.
Well, actually, you know what? You're right.
Right.
All right. I understand.
And that there's nobody taller than. Well, that's not exactly it. But like, let's say I was like the best StarCraft or right now I'm out of shape, but like maybe I'm top 10,000 StarCraft players. Let's say if I go up and I say, I am the best StarCraft player. Anybody that beats me, it's on small technicalities, but I am for sure the best StarCraft player, 100%, right? That would be Dunning-Kruger, where someone that is not skilled thinks that they are very, very skilled at whatever field.
And the less you know, the more skilled you think you are. Which is very, very true in poker.
Hold on. Let Andre go.
The fact that she's challenging Garrett and challenging Sean, and like she just does not understand the skill gap difference between her.
It's also just contradictory.
And those super high level people. Like Berkey shouldn't feel confident about challenging any of them in heads up.
He doesn't.
Right? And, Berkey might have an edge on some people or whatever, but like that is a lot. That's a huge bankroll, and it's against people that know how to study, that are high performers and things. And she's just like, nope, I don't care.
It's also just it's contradictory to not being and wanting to be in the spotlight. It's all contradictory.
She definitely wants to be in the spotlight. That part we can all agree on. The part that I'm saying that she is like, she's not the one that opened that conversation. A lot of people in the chat are saying, oh, but she's the one that texts, et cetera, et cetera. I promise you that what happened in these kind of instances is that she makes an open challenge, like I'll play anyone heads up. At that point, what happens is you're going to have people finding a way to reach out to her and like sending her a DM, finding her number, et cetera, going through a third man party, whatever, trying to contact her in an effort to set these things up, right? And that's what's happened. So she necessarily didn't open the door of playing Sean Deeb heads up. Sean Deeb probably was like, hey, maybe we should play like something. So, not saying that that's what happened. I have no idea, but this is generally what happens.
I get what you're saying, but what Deeb did say, he said that basically Robbi was texting him and he was trying to set up a heads up match between him. Robbi. He texted her trying to set up a heads up match for Garrett and her, saying that they can do it at a safe casino, blah blah blah. And
right, because he's just so willing to give Garrett great action, right? He has no peace.
Of course, time out. This is fucking deep here, man. He sees the spot. What do you want?
He's just a good person for this.
My man Deeb sees the spot right now. He's like, yo, if I can get this shit set up, Garrett's gonna sell me 20 ball. What we gonna do? Like he's like, anybody wants to play. He's doing his shit. I can't be mad at him. Out there fucking challenging everybody in the world.
It's not out of the goodness of his heart that this.
I'm not saying
not to call Sean Deeb out, whatever. It's good.
But tell us about that basement. What's with the paint on the walls?
That's great.
Yeah, we do need to know about that fucking
What's with the paint on the walls? Why we got red, blue, and yellow or whatever?
I definitely need to know. Yellow. I definitely need to know who
Show us the playroom.
This. We need to see what it looks like. It looks like it might be popping, honestly.
Don't forget about the super chats.
Super chats. We got super chats. Oh, all right. Grit Poker sent us the 10 ball. He said she doesn't care about 150K, but needs to be backed. She's so deep in poker, but doesn't know Perkins. She's new to poker, but willing to play heads up for millions. The only thing I know is she's sus. Yeah,
that's just it's kind of summarizing, a lot of the inconsistencies.
Yeah,
that has occurred over the last week.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on, man. There's a lot. Nothing, and the problem is the real issue that keeps coming about is nothing adds up, and like every time you hear something new, there's another excuse or another fucking post that's put out on the internet.
Well, yeah, and my issue is that when every single excuse or post makes the person you can tell it's intentionally trying to make the person look like a saint. Mm-hmm. That bothers me. Something's weird there.
All culminating to the
right. Not everything should just be pointing towards I'm just too nice.
Right.
That's not.
The Bryan reality. And then the Bryan DM was like the pinnacle of the whole
We're
thing.
Really trying to sell this. We're really trying to paint a picture here, and that's what bothers me. And I think everyone can get a sense when somebody is trying to paint a picture for you and tell you what to think through subliminally or just kind of implied that they're trying to tell you what to think. I think that raises alarm bells for a lot of people when they feel like they're being sold a narrative.
Yeah, so talking about being sold a narrative. There's been a lot of shit on Twitter today about what Robbi posted about Bryan. And the reason why everybody's giving it shit is because in the language, the wording, she wrote periods Bryan wrote periods as ... Somebody else does that in many of their writings, and that happens to be Robbi.
Yeah, this is kind of, I don't know if you saw Johnny Vibes' tweet, but he found a tweet from Bryan from in the past where he actually did use that. So that's kind of the one, he did actually, it was like words, space, ... more words. So he did use that language in tweets in the past. So.
Okay, yeah, I saw a couple people like Cole South and retweet that today, and I was just like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. And then shout out to Vibes for for actually pointing out that he does use language like that at times. So
I mean,
who
could
knows?
just be,
maybe he did write it.
maybe it's just a strange occurrence.
Strange occurrence.
Strange occurrence. It's all a quinky dink, you know?
Has anyone seen them in the same room?
Strange occurrence.
They're the same person.
They do look
Yeah,
alike.
they were both in the in the server room together.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
So
I believe it's called an ellipses, Conrad.
Yeah.
Not
An ellipse?
periods.
Ellipses. That's correct.
what's an ellipses?
Ellipses is
The
dot dot dot.
Ah,
And the
gotcha.
strange occurrence is space dot 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 space,
Oh,
which not many
That's the
people
weird
do.
thing. Yeah.
okay.
But you know, there are ways also to keep looking at this. I know back in college, one of my professors was analyzing anonymous like send-ins into the newspaper from the 1800s, and you can just count articles and look at the distribution of articles. So articles being like a, the, and any conjunctions as well helps. And you can look and see, and everybody has apparently like a very unique signature on how often they use their articles over a long period of time. We have some control of what the of like her writing, and we could just plug it in and see how close it correlates. Of course, correlation does not mean causation, but it's another lens to view everything in. I'm not gonna do that work.
All right.
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a
There
lot.
are a lot of people working behind the scenes, gathering a fair chunk of data. I can attest to that.
Let me see your phone.
Well, yeah. No, can't see my phone. But yeah, there's a lot of people
show
working
us
behind
that
the scenes, gathering a lot of data. They're working really, really hard. Like, you know, some of them are, you know, they have like full-time jobs, and then on top of the fact they leave their job and then come do this work, you know, for the community. So that's like really, you know, the shout out to all those people. That's really nice of them.
No, for real. People are looking to get down to the bottom of this. Shout out to you. This is a lot of shit. Like, this is a lot of time to take up. It takes up a lot of time to like try to figure things out in this, and it's a lot of hand histories, and it's just a lot of like data points kind of, and just like putting shit together. And
right, and that's
if the
generally
community-
what's happening, right? You have people that like poker, have skill sets that, you know, will help solve something like this, and then they like get in touch with like a professional that, you know, has a trained eye and can kind of help, you know, explain some of the things and like create like correct data points that would help them, and then they do a lot of like the data work, right? And then we start to create patterns and things like that, and then look for things, and those things will come out in time. But I just, you know, filling people in, like that stuff is happening, you know, in the wee hours of the night when we're also watching Joey, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And shout out to them, because like literally if the community doesn't do it, who's going to? Like, nobody knows poker. Like, people outside of the community don't know poker. So it's like, who's going to do this? Like,
Yeah, I do want to touch on
investigation-wise.
that kind of well, because talking about this story has now gotten like a fair chunk of publicity. And Guapo, I posted in the chat with the timestamp of the All In podcast. Now, this is like one of the biggest podcasts on the planet at this point. You have like, you know, Shamath, you have a bunch of these, you know, I'm forgetting their names, but I know their names. I listen to all their pods consistently. But they're talking about like cheating in a way that we are like, as a community, have already accepted that not to be cheating. So I'll just like let this play, and then we could kind of talk about the impact this has had on the people that kind of know poker but don't necessarily know it deeply.
Chin, quick question. It's already at 9:23. Does that sound about right?
Yes, it's at 9:23. Yeah.
Okay. 1 minute, 2 minutes, long clip.
Yep.
Yeah, long clip.
I mean, in poker, who knows? I mean, we could probably ask Phil this or Keating, but like, for how many years was there suspicions?
Tons. Yeah.
Well, there was tons of cheating in online poker.
Yeah, and high limit
online poker. Remember, like, people are using these like software programs that would track the hand history of your opponent.
Heads-up displays.
HUD, yeah, exactly. So it would help you assess whether the person might be bluffing in that particular situation.
Yeah.
Like, it has superhuman memory.
So I don't know if you guys watch Twitch, like video games like Fortnite or whatever, but there are like players that have been accused of using these screen overlay systems that basically more accurately show you and drive the mouse to where an individual is on the screen so you can more accurately shoot them. And so there's software overlays that make you a better, competitive video game player.
Can I tell you what the through line is?
And then the stuff basically became like, so now what's interesting is now there's eye tracking software that people are using on Twitch streams to see if the individual is actually spotting the target when they shoot, or if the software is spotting the target.
Yeah, they're called
reverse
aim bots. They're aim bots. Yeah.
And like reverse cheat the whole thing. And I think what's interesting is just that there's so much, insight now, so much more video streams, so much more. I mean, think about it. All those guys at that fishing competition.
Tools. Yeah,
and there's cell phones, and they all videoed this thing happening.
Yeah.
Think 10 years ago that wouldn't have been the case, and there wouldn't have been a big story about it. And so,
Shamath, you said there was a theme you wanted to. There was a thread.
I think the theme is pretty obvious, which is that there's been an absolute decay of personal responsibility. People don't feel like there's any downside to cheating anymore. And they're not willing to take it upon themselves to take a journey of wins and losses to get better at something. They want the easy solution, the easy solve, the quick answer, that gets them to some sort of finish line that they have imagined for themselves will solve all their problems. The problem is it doesn't solve any problems, and it just makes them a wholly corrupt individual.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this Hustler Casino Live cash game play. There's this woman, Robbi, who is a...
Okay. All right. So basically, the main points that I want to say is that this has gotten to a point where it's kind of extended outside of the bounds of the community, where now it's kind of like a public thing where LA Times wrote an article on Robbi. Now on the All In podcast, they're talking about what's cheating, what's not cheating. But it's a delicate balance because the people don't really know what is considered cheating. They're talking about HUDs and things like that are not really considered cheating anymore. Right. But to the outside person, we have these numbers on our screens that you don't have, et cetera, and it has eternal memory, so to speak. Okay. But that's not considered cheating. So I want to open the discussion to what do we think about what this is doing to the outside perspective?
Ooh.
I don't know. I honestly believe that in this day and age, especially any publicity is good publicity. If it gets more eyes on poker, if it gets more people into the poker community online, if it gets more people paying attention to poker, I don't see that as a bad thing. So, I mean, not saying that it's going to be the next moneymaker as she implied, but maybe
you're the next moneymaker.
There's a very clear onboarding process to me for this hand, which is, oh wow, a lot of very well respected pros think that there's something up, and she played this wrong. I'm a casual and I don't understand the complexities of why this is wrong. I should try to investigate to see why.
That's what a smart person would think. There's a lot of people going, well, this is clearly, he's just a sore loser, this pussy. There's a lot of people saying that.
But there's, whether it's a 1 or 0.1% conversion rate on,
or what are these memes? I want to know what they're talking about. That's usually what gets me into random communities is I see a bunch of people being funny or posting memes about it, and I'm like, oh, I want to know the joke. What's going on?
Just to go back for a second, I did want to clarify something that Jeremiah Williams actually wrote in the chat. Shout out to Jeremiah. He said, didn't Sean Deeb say last night that Robbi only wanted to play him heads up at her studio, which is correct, as he did state that. So I don't know, that's a little curveball. Only at my studio will play. But Andre is going to be leaving us. He's got to go.
I'm checking.
Oh,
okay.
No, I'm staying.
All right, Andre is with us
until 3:45.
All right.
His colonoscopy got delayed.
What if there was something actually wrong with me, Melissa?
Then I would get you a Starbucks.
There's nothing at Starbucks.
Yeah, nothing at Starbucks can't fix.
I gotta get out.
So I mean, what do we think about this? Going outside of poker, you're more of the outside of poker, Andre.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think this is good for poker, as in eyes on?
Look, I see this a little bit like crypto, a little bit, where crypto just got destroyed quite a bit, right? And it's not necessarily good for the overall industry, but there are certain mechanics that needed to be vetted inside of crypto, like Luna's tokenomics.
Yeah.
And these things have to take their natural courses so that we can have the most stability going into the future. And although, yeah, it sucks and it's a little bit of a black eye for poker, we need, and I'm very much on the security side, we need to have better vetted security on the streams. Like, we need to be able to say, you're going into this and you don't have to trust the system. You said it best in earlier podcasts, Melissa, where it was, we need a trustless system where we don't have to worry about this shit anymore. Right?
Well, yeah, we shouldn't have to. I mean, it's because then it's like there's just too many things that can go wrong. There's too many moving parts. Like if you just have a system in place where you don't have to worry about if this person has, several priors and a robbery and an escape from prison, it's like,
and how he escaped from prison?
It was non-violent. He used the plastic spoon. He dug his way out.
We didn't even go into it, guys. We didn't even go into what these charges were that we saw. We saw charges for robbery. We saw one for escape from
non-violent
prison.
Escape. He used his plastic spoon. He dug his way out. That's how they do
escape
it, right?
from prison. Like, I mean, what was this? A day club?
Shawshank Redemption. But he said a hole covered up by a poster. That's
going
all.
back real quick, I can think of a poker GFX solution where it is trustless completely.
Okay.
Nobody knows the whole cards, and that system can be built with poker GFX. I know some people are like really shitty on that system. I know for sure. I don't know for sure, right?
Okay.
Like encryption can be broken, maybe real time. Maybe there's some sort of way to track all the RFID cards and stuff, but there are also protocols. For example, when we were doing Run It Up Reno, I went through 20 decks in a single Run It Up Reno. That is a lot of fucking decks to go through.
How many hours of live stream do you have in a Run Up Reno?
God, it's probably like 12 times 14.
All right,
like
so
that.
like 144 or something like that?
100 and
more than that.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. 168.
Yeah, okay.
So 168 hours. It's a lot of hours, right? And maybe it's cut down quite a bit because, there's breaks and shit like that. But we go through a lot of decks. It's really important to us to do that. If I had to do the whole Run It Up Reno system over again, I'd do it way differently than right now because of all the shit that's going on right now.
Okay.
But that's what I hope changes from all of this, right? We need better, robust systems. We need to be able to go to a place or an event and know that there is, like a seal of approval from Andrew, the creator or something, that this is 100% because.
Let's talk about something.
Hold on one second. I have one question for Andre. Sorry, Jen. You said that you have some ideas in place that would help it. What are these ideas? Just because, I know there's other stream houses listening.
It's ways of securing the server.
Ways of securing the server?
Correct. There is a way to operate the entire Poker GFX where you don't even need the server. The server is the only place that holds the whole cards.
Okay.
And then you just have everything tracked through all the other clients, basically.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you run daily diagnostics tests to make sure there's no malware on it. You don't even have a fucking monitor hooked up to that machine. There's nothing else. And I think the way that this scales into the future is that we find a way to have that entire machine offline completely.
Yep.
Right? Because it is connected to the internet. I want that thing just not even connected to the internet. It's just like this box that has everything.
I'm not sure if you heard Manet's interview here the other day, but he did say that he was working on something basically that holds the graphics offline until after the hand is over.
Yeah.
Which is kind of genius.
That has to be the best.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I think still with Poker GFX, I get it's an out-of-the-box solution. I get it's not made for enterprise, but we can still do our best, and there are definitely protocols in place where everybody can feel pretty secure about what's going on. Remember, Run It Up Renos, we're doing all those precautions. We're talking about fucking, our main was $400 or $600.
Yeah,
they're tiny,
$600 main.
right? I'm doing $125 tournaments and 250s. When we're dealing with $1 million, $2 million on the floor.
Yeah.
What you're trying to say is if you can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, it's that
Like,
if
security-wise.
it's that the standard of security should be higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
All right. Chin, sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
I think it's an optics thing. So until we get like a trustless system similar to what Andre is saying, I think once we hit that barrier, then we are able to have the owners and staff play in the game. And it's not because I think they're doing anything wrong or anything like that whatsoever. I think it's an optics thing for the brand, right? It's my opinion that it generally doesn't look good when the game runner is in the game and smashing the game. Like people don't like, they always think something's up.
Yeah.
So until we have like a trustless system that is 100% secured and like very vouched for by a lot of like the titans of the industry, then we can reintroduce that. But for now, I think it looks bad.
You're saying
like
people who are running the stream shouldn't play in the games.
Optically, like
Right.
I'm not accusing absolutely anyone. Optically,
It's not a great look. I agree.
tend to like not like that.
I mean, Doug
And
plays on his stream.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, they all do it. They all do
Yeah.
it, and I'm not saying it's even bad. Like all I'm saying is, once we raise the bar, then we can reintroduce it, right?
Yeah, he's just saying that we need a trustless system for all this to happen.
Yeah.
So like, it can't be there can't be any eyes.
What do you
turn
think,
bad.
Andre? From a trustless, security standpoint, should the game runners be playing in the game?
Almost never.
Yeah.
Almost never, even with the trustless.
Actually, never.
Too much of a conflict of interest.
No, I
it
agree.
seems.
I agree 100%.
Correct. Like in a perfect world, I don't want any of the people working in the production to even be friends with people
that
are playing.
Understood.
But that part's almost impossible.
It is very.
It is impossible, especially in like the
No
the
fraternizing,
community.
not on Andre's watch. But it makes
Andre
sense.
has fraternized an hour. What are you
It makes
talking
sense,
about?
though.
Yeah.
And look, it's just optics. It's not that there's anything going wrong. It's just optics.
No, it's not
That's all.
optics.
It's not optics.
It's not-
It's that there needs to be precautions in place because we can't trust human beings. Pretty much it.
I mean, that's right. We can.
No, we're trying to create a system that is infallible.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Right.
Right. So that's what it really
And have
comes
things
down to.
reliant on the trust of human beings. It
Yeah.
just look what happens.
So moving on. More shit came out this morning. Another statement came out. This one came from Nik Airball. It says some clarifications regarding last week's HCL events. I met Jacob and Robbi on Wednesday, 9/21 at Hustler Casino for live stream. I befriended Jacob at the table as we discussed MMA and boxing, and he told me about how he works with Jake Paul, Bloggy, and Ivanov. Blagoy Ivanov and other fighters. Jacob busted early that day from the stream, but before leaving, we agreed to exchange contact information, and he invited me to the Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva fight. I accepted his invitation and was sent ringside tickets by Jacob. That day, I played a couple of hands with Robbi of interest. She owned me in one hand with ace-ace versus my 7-3 on 8-7-6-5-X, where I gave up river after some talk on the turn. After the game, I also got Robbi's contact information as I felt like her and Jacob were both great for the game, and she expressed interest in off-stream games. I host high stakes games off stream at Hustler about once a week, where the regulars frequently play. In the coming days, I talked to Jacob a little via text, a little about the fights, and I invited both him and Robbi to an off stream game that was scheduled for 9:30. On 9/28, the day before the alleged incident, I made dinner plans with Jacob and Robbi, and we went to Javier's in Newport Beach. Great choice. We were there from about 5 p.m. to midnight, eating dinner and having drinks. During our time there, we talked a lot about MMA fighting and also a lot about poker. We also talked about the game the next day, which Jacob was not scheduled to play. Nothing came across sketchy to me. Jacob loves poker and seemed interested in trying to get more involved and help build the Hustler stream by potentially bringing Jake Paul, and other big names out for the game. Jacob mentioned to me during the dinner that he was taking a piece of Robbi in the game the next day. At the end of the night, Jacob spoke with Ryan Feldman on the phone and agreed to play the next day. However, this was after a full night of heavy drinking. I drove Jacob home in his car as he had too much to drink. Then took it back to my house and crashed for the night. After agreeing to pick him up, drop off his car the next day. The next day, 9/29, I got to Jacob's house around 10 a.m., and we hung out there while he got ready for about an hour. After he got ready, we chatted a little before leaving, and he was stressed about the game that day, as he didn't remember agreeing to play the night before, and thus didn't have enough cash on hand for himself, and he needed cash for Robbi too. I offered to lend him $175,000 in Hustler chips. For those wondering, this is a common practice in high-stake games, especially at Hustler. I have long been known as a lender in the games, and I've always lent to players to help keep the game running and make life easier for all. This has not always worked out for me. Regardless, we got my car, and then we caravan to the Hustler, where I gave Jacob $175K before the stream in the VIP private room. This all happened on camera. Robbi was there as well. While at the cage, Jacob asked the cashier if the money he had wired had cleared. After looking, the cashier had said the wire has not been received yet. Jacob offered me a 15% free roll for helping him out, and I declined. It's not my style. We agreed Jacob would return the chips to me the next day, 9/30/22, as he was scheduled to play the smallest stream game with Robbi. I went home after and was relaxing until I found out about the hand in real time. Obviously, I did not know what to think or how to feel, but I decided to go to Hustler to collect my $175K. I went to Hustler and waited at the VIP cage area, during which I met Robbi's husband briefly and exchanged some pleasantries before pointing him in the direction of the stage. 15 to 30 minutes after the stream ended, Jacob came with his chips to the VIP cage area, and upon seeing me, promptly gave me back the $175K in chips. All this information was shared with Ryan Feldman on 10/1/2022. I am happy to answer any other questions people may have. What the fuck did I just read?
Good question.
Could somebody tell me what the fuck did I just read? And why the fuck did I just read that?
I don't know. That was pretty long.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm stressed out. I really am stressed out. Every time, so.
When was the last time you read that many words? Together.
Like an hour and a half ago when I read this.
It feels like when the teacher makes the kid read an entire page because he wasn't paying attention.
It's fucking miserable. But why the fuck did I just read this? Why did he make me read this? I don't know. So.
Okay, let's go through it. Right. So what he's saying is that they hung out, and then basically the wire didn't go through.
Well, let's start in the beginning. Let's start in the beginning, Chin.
Go ahead.
So basically, he said they befriended each other at the table at night, and he was sent tickets for the Jake Paul fight. Blah blah blah. Whatever. He said he played a hand of. He states that he played a couple hands with Robbi of interest. She owned me in one hand with ace on versus my 7-3 on 8-7-6-5, where I decided to give up the river after some talk on the turn. Who asked you about that? I'm curious. 'Cause I don't know. Where is this coming from? I don't get it.
It's basically just context. He's trying to provide context of how he knows her.
Okay. Great. We played a hand together. Yeah, so
a lot of details in there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So basically, after this, he befriended them and to poach him for his game, it seems. And
okay, so someone says that hand means she doesn't fold. It's the point of saying that.
Yeah, but she also has aces, so
right.
It's hard to
yeah. Most people don't like to fold aces.
I know this from experience. Trying to make non-professionals fold aces is a bad move.
I saw a guy, he had pocket queens, the flop came ace high, and he just triple barrel blasted it off into like offsuit ace-x because he had a premium hand.
Yeah.
Queens should win. Doesn't matter what the board is.
Did he win?
No, he did not. He got stacked. Tripled it off right into 2-pair, actually.
All right. So basically, in the first paragraph, he's just providing context of how he met them and that why he exchanged numbers with them, like saying that he hosts a game and he wants them to come play. Great, cool, whatever. So in the coming days, he speaks about his lunch with Robbi, it looks like, and how they talked about coming to play on the Hustler stream and like growing the stream. Why does he care about growing the stream? Do you know? Do you have any insight there, Ben?
Well, look, this is the whole problem with Nik Airball. Nik Airball, like, understand the context of where Hustler's coming from, and then also Nik Airball's involvement on streams. So Hustler, for you to get a seat, you either have to generally be like a known figure, bring views to the game, or generally be a non-professional player. Now, there is some sort of like beef / like not friendly vibes between Nik Airball and Garrett Adelstein. So, it's Garrett may not want to play with him all the time, so maybe he is potentially not always in the Friday games, etc. So maybe he's looking at it through the lens of, okay, well, if I can provide a higher viewership for the stream, maybe now I become someone that they desire to be putting in the games, and I always guarantee myself a seat. Okay. So that's probably the outlook of where he's coming from.
Understood. So I have a question. Did anything happen that like was this 175K transaction, like, is this seen on like tape or something? Is this why this statement's coming out? Chin?
No, it's he is providing this on his own. No one has ever publicly alleged him to be funding them. So this is new information that he funded them.
Okay, so he was just putting this out and just letting people know that he gave him 175K that night. Okay.
I mean, look, what really happened here in the background is that there was a connection between Airball and RIP based on the watch, right? So Nik posted, and I think he goes on to explain this in his tweet, that the watch was worn at Javier's, et cetera. But basically, people are like, okay, it looks like Nik posted this watch, and RIP was also wearing this watch. So they started putting a connection there between those two parties.
Okay.
At that point, the conspiracies began of like, well, Nik doesn't like Garrett, et cetera, right? So that's where probably the rumblings that he was hearing in the background, so he decided to provide context of his sort of connection to them.
Okay. All right. I can see that. That's cool. So he goes on to say that this is common practice. He's been known as a lender in all these games just to keep the games going, which I understand. Like, anytime you try to keep the game running, everybody, whoever the VIP there or the players that are always there will lend the money out, basically, if people are good for it. So that's just common practice in poker, especially high stakes. Let's see. So,
not sort of. So I do want to provide a little bit of context. It's not as common as he's making it seem. Like, yes, there is a lot of credit that's lent out in the high stakes community, but generally that credit isn't built on like one interaction, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, 175K is a lot of money.
Yeah, like 175K, and like we're meeting the next day. Like we're not even meeting like immediately after your game's over. It's more just like we're meeting the next day off one interaction. Like, I just got your phone number and I'm giving you 175. Like, look, I don't know. I don't know what a 175 means to Nik. Obviously, like, I don't know that he works in finance, but that's kind of what I've heard. He's like maybe an investment banker or something along those lines.
Yep.
But 175 after just getting someone's phone number, like, look, Conrad, I'll let you see my phone. And I promise you, there is no one I gave 175 to that I just met.
Look, that's a lot of money, right? Like we talked about, like Robbi saying that she doesn't care about $200,000. You need, we estimated you need $100-200 million to not care about that amount of money. So that's a lot of fucking money to
maybe
just.
He has it. Look, I don't know what area.
Maybe he
of
does
finance
have it,
works.
right? Maybe he does have that.
He could be working.
Money,
he could be working investment bank, private equity, hedge fund, whatever. I mean, these people do make a fair chunk of change. So, you know, maybe he does have a lot. I'm just saying it's not like Connie, you made it seem like it's like a normal practice, which it is, but it's not a normal practice when you just met someone.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they knew each other for, if I'm calculating this correctly, met on 9/21, and this is on 9/28. So they knew each other for 7 days
1
exactly.
week. Yep.
So it's like, 175. So you gained the trust.
You try to do it on a daily basis.
You gained the trust of what, like 20K a fucking more than that. Jesus Christ, 20K a day.
Connie, look. One trick of production is never do math on air.
Right. Listen,
Never
I'm cool with just throwing out fucking random numbers. I'm cool with it. I'm not always right. I understand this. I live this life. So basically, Nik is just providing us with a background story of what's going on here. He said that this watch, I see a comment here from Veronica where it says, so you lent him $175K and your watch? So the watch that is in question is a white Richard Mille watch. Not being able to hear myself, sorry. It's a white Richard Mille watch, and there is a picture of Nik Airball wearing this at what he says to be Javier's on the 28th, basically. And then Rip came to the game wearing it. So that's the context to the watch.
Didn't Nik say that he just let him borrow it to take the picture?
No, opposite. Oh, yes. Rip let Nik borrow the watch.
Okay.
Yes. Just to take the picture.
Okay.
So they're just
Rip,
messing around or something.
So Rip has a $400,000 watch on.
Gotcha.
In his house. I mean,
Richard Mille cost a Lambo. That's
maybe
what they
he
say,
gave him the watch as collateral.
I mean, that's. I mean, if he said that, he didn't say that. You said that. Don't lie.
No, I didn't say that. Just say maybe
that may be relatively common. When like if I know, like I've had people where I'm like, oh, I love your ring. Like they have a huge rock on, you know. And they're like, do you want to try it on? And I'm like,
yeah, that's not a strange occurrence.
Not a strange occurrence.
Not a strange occurrence whatsoever. I mean, to be fair, I don't know why Nik was wearing this watch. He's got a pretty nice watch himself. I saw last night on Hustler. That shit was popping. It looked like at least $100K.
All I'm
watch.
saying is, like, look, I don't know anyone's situation, and frankly, I don't care that much. I'm just saying that it's an unusual thing to lend someone a multi-$100,000 watch plus 175,000 in chips when you know them for 1 week.
That is true.
It's just unusual.
Well, wait, so I thought that they were like in the same place, and he was like, "Here, you can try it on and take a photo." It wasn't like that.
That's what I was assuming too.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
He said that they were at Javier's when he tried it on. Yeah.
So that seems normal.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
like
maybe the man is
it.
just fucking so. Listen, maybe Nik Airball is just so fucking rich and he don't give a fuck and he has fuck you money and he's like,
seems that way.
and he just could do this. And you know what? I wish I was that person too.
That's what Robbi is claiming that she has. She has fuck you money and doesn't care about any of it.
Everybody apparently has fuck you money. That's all I know.
Where does it go?
That's all I figured out throughout this whole thing.
Where do you guys get fuck you money?
Everybody in LA has fuck you money.
A lot of that is true.
Like,
do we need to go to LA?
There's a lot of money in that town.
Do we need to go to LA? Like, how do we get fuck you money?
I don't even know why we're still here. Like, everybody in LA is fuck you money. It's been confirmed in the last 24 hours. Like, we just need to all go to LA.
Berkey's in LA.
See?
He's about to kick off right now.
I don't understand. The taxes are so high there. How does everyone have fuck you money?
Listen, I don't know what goes on in LA. I really don't. But all I know is they're fucking rich because they don't care about 200,000.
They're all getting 1,000 back. You didn't see? Gavin Newsom's giving everybody $1,000 back.
Oh, this
And
makes so much more sense.
Everybody in California,
Oh,
everyone now
so
has
that's where it's from.
$1,000 worth of fuck you
That's
money.
where it's from.
Because gas is too high.
All right.
So he just said, here's $1,000.
All right, well.
Brian always brings it back to some political thing.
He brings it back to the
Wait. Okay, if we're going to talk politics.
Oh, no.
I mean, did we see?
No.
Wait, no,
Brian,
come on.
no.
Did we see what Biden did yesterday?
Okay, let's
No,
not.
Brian.
Let's not.
Brian, no.
Right.
Brian, I'm listening. Fucking spit, baby.
All right. I mean, he is pardoning every single federal charge of simple marijuana possession.
All right,
That's
time
great.
to wrap the show.
All right, cool.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get this over with. It's been going on a long time. I figured already start talking politics. You would end the show, and I can go
all you
home
gotta do is start talking
watch some
politics.
baseball. That's all I want to do is go home and watch baseball.
All right, well, you know what? It's time to go home and watch baseball. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. The special edition of the Only Friends podcast. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your theory. Let us know what's going on. Tell us. We want to fucking know what your thoughts are.
Also, great job, Conrad.
Yes, good job hosting, Conrad.
Great
Way to
reading.
go, man. Seriously, it was great.
Yeah, Conrad, you did great.
Thanks, man.
No front.
All right, well.
Just the reading.
On that note, well, over time.
No. That's the best part. That's the fucking best part. For sure.
There were some typos in there, which was, not all his fault.
Yeah, shit happens. We're out here.
Game came,
We're out here. We're just trying to get it popping out here. So anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we will see you guys back on, I was about to say Monday, but I'm not going to let that shit slip. There's like an 85% chance we'll be here at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yep,
Holla.
Peace.